Because even when you're looking at, as far as the intimate conversation, you have to look at having protected intimacy, which really shouldn't be happening until later on in the relationship anyway. So if you really don't know this person well, you don't really trust this person, then why is the touch factor all the way up here, but you don't know what their background is? You don't know what they're working with. You don't know what they coming to the table with. They can have a disease of some sort, and you got touch all the way up here when you really don't even know them yet.
And meanwhile, the red flags that we talked about earlier have presented themselves.
Loud and clear.
And yet you have still engaged in sexual activity with this person. So we're talking about, using this relationship attachment model, ways that you, the viewing audience, can prevent being in a domestic violence situation. Now, we've just given you an example through Brother Lewis here, Johnson. We've just given you an example of what relationships tend to look like today. You have very little knowledge of the person. You trust them a little bit more than rely. And, we may even be able to move this up just a bit or whatever. There's room for movement because, again, you got touch up so high. So that person say, hey, I'm willing to give this person my body, okay? And reliance here, based on your example, we say, hey, we got a lot of independent sisters out there, and brothers too, and may not be in that relationship to depend on that person, okay? And then you have a very modest level of commitment in that relationship. And of course, touch is off the charts. It speaks for itself.
Speaks for itself.
Speaks for itself. So we're dealing with that. And this is the model that festers and allows domestic violence relationships to exist.
Wow. And it's so unfortunate because theoretically, when you're looking at it from a relationship standpoint, every one of these indicators should be on equal playing field. It should be balanced.
That's right.
There should be a balanced relationship going on where all of these things are somewhere around the same level.
Wow.
You can't have too much of nothing.
Right.
Because even if you know somebody very well, but your intimacy level is down here, there's still a disconnect.
Yeah.
So it should be balanced to some degree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that now we're getting into what this chart should look like. Now we get into what this chart should look like. All right, this is what it should look like. And you're right. I mean, you can go as high as every level. Obviously, if you go up with commitment here and touch is up here. Now, let me say, this is a married situation.
Married situation.
You have vetted your partner. What do we mean by vetting? Of course, we mean do your research. You have done your research on your partner. Mm-hmm. You know their characteristics. You know that they are tender and they are affectionate. You know that they will open the door for you. You know that they will say nice things to you, sweet nothings, etc. You know these things, okay? So you know their family background. You know their middle name. You know their favorite food.
Birthday. You know all that stuff.
So I had to throw that in there for some folks.
Favorite food.
You'd be surprised how many people will go off the charts. Will go off the charts with this and can't tell you the middle name of the person they just went off the charts with.
Can't tell your favorite color.
Nothing.
You can't tell what they like to eat. You don't know what they don't like, what they're allergic to. You married someone and you don't know these things?
What about genetics? Some people say, well, why do you want to know all that stuff? If you are dating someone, it should be, I like your phrase, it should be for the purpose of...
of marriage. Listen, a dating experience is not for you to sow your royal oats. No. It is an opportunity to get to know someone with the purpose in mind that eventually I would like to be married. Now, if you're early on in the game and you see some deal breakers and some white flags that you know this ain't gonna work, then you need to go ahead and end that as early as possible because this is not what you want in a marriage situation.
That's right. That's right. So, but we say sow royal oats. A lot of people think that that's the thing to do, test drive the car. You're not sowing you're wasting your oats.
Wow.
You're wasting them.
Well, here's a question that we need to pose to the people. If you wanted to buy a suit, would you go to Macy's or would you go to the thrift store? Wow. If you had a choice and you wanted to buy a suit from a nice department store like Macy's or Dillard's or either get a tailor-made or to go to the flea market or the Goodwill, which place would you rather go to get the suit? Most people would go to get a new suit. They don't want the stuff that's been used and been passed down throughout. I want to get something that's more new, something that's coming right off the manufacturer's floor.
That's good.
But you settle for flea market love when you should be going to get the department store love.
Wow. Some of y'all got some people on layaway too, but that's another show.
You got him on layaway.
Got him on layaway. I pick him up in 6 months. But
Wow.
oh boy, I tell you, that's real though. That's real talk. That's
real.
what it is. So many dynamics, we don't have enough time to deal with all of them. But this is what it should look like. Let's bring that back down. Let me give you an example of a relationship. Yes, it's a little crooked there. Thank you. An example of a relationship that didn't work out, but the person